Göbekli Tepe, the temple that rewrote the origin of civilization. What if the history of human civilization is backwards? What if everything we were taught about how society began is not? Wrong but incomplete, because hidden beneath a quiet hill in southeastern Turkey lies a place that should not exist according to everything we think we know about prehistory. A place that forces us to question the very foundation of civilization itself. Göbekli Tepe, the oldest known monumental temple ever discovered, dating back more than 11,000 years, to a time when humans were supposedly nothing more than primitive hunter-gatherers struggling to survive. And yet this site tells a very different story, a story of planning, symbolism, cooperation, and belief on a scale that should have been impossible for its time. When archaeologists first encountered Göbekli Tepe in the 1990s, they believed it was just another unremarkable mound, one of thousands scattered across the region, until excavations revealed something extraordinary. Massive stone pillars carved in a distinctive T-shape, some standing over 6 meters tall and weighing more than 20 tons, arranged in carefully designed circular enclosures, decorated with intricate reliefs of animals such as foxes, snakes, lions, boars, birds, and scorpions, as well as abstract symbols whose meaning remains unknown. And suddenly it became clear that this was not a settlement, not a village, not a place where people lived their daily lives, but something far more unsettling, a ritual center, a sacred space built with intention and precision, long before cities, writing, metal tools, or agriculture were supposed to exist. And this is where Göbekli Tepe becomes truly dangerous to traditional history. Because according to the standard narrative, civilization began when humans learned to farm. Agriculture created food surplus. Surplus allowed permanent settlements. And only then did religion, art, and monumental architecture emerge. But Göbekli Tepe reverses this sequence entirely. Here we see monumental religious architecture appearing first, which suggests that shared belief, ritual, and symbolism may have been the very forces that pushed humans to settle down and eventually invent agriculture, not the other way around. In other words, civilization may have begun not with hunger, but with ideas, with faith, with the need to gather, cooperate, and give meaning to the world. Archaeological evidence shows no signs of permanent habitation at Göbekli Tepe. No houses, no domestic hearths, no everyday tools associated with long-term living, which strongly suggests that people traveled from distant regions to gather here, making it one of the earliest known pilgrimage sites in human history, a place where scattered groups united around shared rituals and beliefs. And this level of coordination implies social organization far more advanced than previously imagined for this period. Even more unsettling is the fact that Göbekli Tepe predates Stonehenge by more than 6,000 years and the pyramids of Egypt by over 7,000 years, yet its builders were capable of quarrying, transporting, carving, and erecting enormous stone structures without metal tools, without wheels, and without domesticated animals, which raises an unavoidable question. How much did these people really know? And what else might they have built that we have not yet discovered? But perhaps the greatest mystery of all is not how Göbekli Tepe was built, but what happened to it afterward, because at some point, after centuries of use, the site was deliberately buried, carefully filled in with tons of soil, stone, and debris, not destroyed by natural disaster, not abandoned to erosion, but intentionally sealed, almost as if its builders wanted to preserve it, or hide it, or mark the end of an era, and no one knows why. Some researchers believe it reflects a major cultural or religious shift. Others suggest it coincided with the rise of agriculture and new social structures. But the truth is that we simply do not know, and this uncertainty is precisely what makes Göbekli Tepe so powerful, because even today, only a small fraction of the site has been excavated. Less than 10%, meaning that what we see now may be only a glimpse of something much larger, older, and more complex, still buried beneath the ground. Göbekli Tepe forces us to abandon the comforting idea that human progress followed a simple, linear path. Instead, it suggests that civilization emerged through experimentation, belief, cooperation, and loss. That knowledge can appear, disappear, and reappear, and that entire chapters of human history may have been erased by time, climate change, and rising seas at the end of the last ice age. This temple does not give us answers. It gives us better questions about who we really are, how we came together, and how fragile civilization truly is, because if humans were capable of creating something like Göbekli Tepe 12,000 years ago, then the story of our origins is far older, deeper, and more mysterious than we ever imagined. And perhaps the most unsettling thought of all is this: Göbekli Tepe is not an anomaly. It may be a survivor, a rare piece of a forgotten world, resurfacing now to remind us that civilization has risen before, and that it can fall again just as silently.